It's your boy B Will, man. Hey, they finally locked David up, man. If you don't know who David is, he's a music artist, and his song that blew up was about a murder that he committed. And this video is gonna tell us all about it, man. They finally caught up to him. They finally got all of the proof. Hey, let's see what it's talking about, man. Let's see what it's talking about.
A parent's nightmare is a situation where your daughter goes out one night and never comes back. Their grief is uncalculable.
The LA County District Attorney has just made a big decision regarding criminally charging singer David in connection with the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. It was a shocking press conference where we learned never before heard details of this case and investigation. And
this is David right here. This is, oh, you can barely see her. But if she's 14, how old is David?
Where some of the questions we have had for the last 7 months have been answered. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Hey, real quick, before we go any further, I gotta tell you about this app that I think you're gonna love. It's our partner, Upside. So Upside gets you cash back. Yes, extra cash back on everyday purchases like gas, groceries, takeout. Here's what you do. You download Upside for free. You claim an offer at one of their 100,000 plus locations. You pay like normal with your card. You verify the purchase, and just like that, money back. So say I need to get gas or I want takeout one night. I'll search for Upside offers first. And after I spend, money appears in my app that I can transfer right into my bank account. Upside's frequent users, they earn an average of $254 back a year. So to start getting your cash back, click the link in the description or scan the QR code, but make sure to use our promo code SIDEBAR because you'll get an extra 25 cents bonus on every gallon on your first tank of gas. All right, huge day in David news. There was a big press conference that was held by the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office. I'm talking about LA District Attorney Nathan Hochman. This is in conjunction with the LAPD. In this room, they were flanked by a mugshot, a new mugshot of David, and a picture of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. We have finally learned whether David,
that's the girlfriend named Celeste,
will be criminally charged, and with what. And remember, this comes on the heels of what we reported last week, the arrest of the 21-year-old romantic homicide singer on suspicion of the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
So he's 21 now, but apparently he committed this murder years ago. And they're just now putting together the pieces, and they got him. He made a whole song that he blew his career up about her, about him doing it to her.
Months ago, her reported decomposed and dismembered body was found in the trunk of a car reportedly registered to the singer. And it was confusing because he was arrested but not charged last week. And we thought that's strange because our reporting was, and we saw this from TMZ and other outlets, that a grand jury had reportedly been hearing evidence for quite some time in this case when the arrest came down. So why was he arrested and not charged? And we speculated and wondered, did the grand jury not believe there was enough evidence to charge him with a crime? Maybe it...
Bro, I don't know where they got these pictures from, but these picture qualities are horrible, my boy. Come on now.
Wasn't a grand jury with the power to indict, maybe just to hear evidence and lock in testimony. Maybe they were still hearing evidence when the arrest came down. And that's why you saw, and we've heard this a little bit from TMZ too, whether or not the LAPD and the DA, maybe their offices were not on the same page. You go to this press conference, that was not the case. I'll get to it in a second. So remember what also happened last week. The LAPD, the PIO, released a statement. Detectives from Los Angeles Police Department Robbery Homicide Division have arrested David Burke, a 21-year-old resident of Los Angeles, for the murder of Celeste Rivas. Burke is being held without bail. The case will be presented to the District Attorney's Office on Monday for filing consideration. That's today. Now, this also came in from the LA County District Attorney's Office last week, Greg Reisling. Good evening. Our office is aware of the arrest of David Anthony Burke by the Los Angeles Police Department. The case is expected to be presented to the Major Crimes Division, at which point prosecutors will review the facts facts and evidence to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to file charges. At this time, additional information is not available. We will share an update on Monday once a filing decision has been made. So you hear that language and you wonder, again, were they on the same page? Now, LAPD Captain Scott Williams told NBC last week regarding David's arrest at his home in Hollywood Hills, "We did the best we can to keep tabs on him, but once we developed probable cause to arrest him for murder, then we were on him pretty diligently." And he told the California Post they had a probable cause warrant with them when they made the arrest. And there were photos of armed police outside the residence making the arrest. Per reporting from the California Post, David appeared to be in handcuffs. He was led away. A neighbor told the outlet there were so many cops. There was apparently an officer on a loudspeaker shouting surrender. It was a big scene. We also heard from David's attorneys. So Blair Burke, Marilyn Benarski, and Regina Peter, they released a statement saying, "Let us be clear, the actual evidence in this case will show that David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, and he was not the cause of her death. There has been no indictment returned by any grand jury in this case, and no criminal complaint filed," although you'll hear Nathan Hochman maybe suggest otherwise.
How can they say he's not the cause of her death when he made a song explaining what he did to her and where she was? It says it. Look up the song. It says it all in the song. Hopefully it showed the song name. I forgot what it's called, bro. But it says it all.
Otherwise about a criminal complaint. David has only been detained under suspicion. We will vigorously defend David's innocence. Now, again, this was from last week. We got to talk about what happened today, okay? By the way, before I even get into today, TMZ reported that their source told them that the ME, the medical examiner's office, determined Celeste's manner of death to be homicide, okay? Takes us now to today. Los Angeles
The name of the song is Romantic Homicide. Look up Romantic Homicide, bro. It explains everything. And they gonna say he innocent when he named the song Romantic Homicide.
District Attorney Nathan Hochman held a press conference alongside members of the LAPD, including Scott Williams, who I mentioned before, even indicated Beth Silverman will be the lead prosecutor on this case, which is interesting because we had previously reported she was the one who was apparently presenting evidence to this grand jury. She's a career prosecutor, particularly in homicide cases. And this was the moment, after 7 months, when Nathan Hochman announced the charging decision for David Anthony Burke. David.
Today, I am announcing the charges against David Anthony Burke, the musician known as David, spelled D4vid, in connection with the brutal and horrific murder of Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time. These charges include the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring. That is first-degree murder with special circumstances. The special circumstances being lying in wait, committing this crime for financial gain, or murdering a witness in an investigation. These special circumstances carry with it, along with the first-degree murder charge, a maximum sentence of life without the possibility of parole.
Life? Bro, look at, he looked like he did it. I ain't gonna lie to you. But life is crazy. What y'all think, bro? Would y'all give him life? That's tough. That's tough. He better have some good lawyers. That's tough.
The death penalty. The determination on whether or not the district attorney's office will seek the death penalty will be made at a later time. Before I get into the actual charges, and there are additional charges against Mr. Burke, including continuous sexual acts, lewd and lascivious sexual acts with an individual under 14 years old, and mutilating a human remains of a body. Before I get into the description of these charges and their seriousness, I want to look at this as a parent. I am a parent of 3 children, and a parent's nightmare is a situation where your daughter goes out one night and never comes back. As we will show in a court of law, and what I also want to make sure about that the understanding of these charges is clear, is my description of these charges is not evidence that we are going to present in court. These charges, in fact, will not be evidence in the court. Evidence will be the witness testimony, the documents, and different types of admissible testimony that we will admit into court in the prosecution, and if it leads to the eventual trial of Mr. Burke, to convince a jury of 12 people beyond a reasonable doubt that each and every one of these charges is true, as well as the special allegations and circumstances that have been alleged.
Okay, first of all,
I don't know. I'm wondering if they have fingerprints or anything. I wonder how much evidence they actually have on him. But now that I think about it, I kind of agree with the life. I kind of agree with it. I'm trying to see how much evidence they have.
we suspected that David would be charged with murder after that was what he was arrested for, and in other court documents that came out a couple months ago, we know that he was being investigated for murder. But first-degree murder with special circumstances? Lying in wait to kill? Murdering a witness as part of an investigation? Murdering for financial gain? And now facing the possibility of the death penalty, even though it's my understanding there is a moratorium on executions in California. That is a huge deal. And in a minute, we're going to get to the reasons the DA believes the evidence purportedly shows that. But what you're seeing are different alternative theories on how to prove the murder charge here. And clearly, they believe David is at the center, that David is the one responsible. Now, to be clear, he is innocent until proven guilty, and we don't know the exact.
That boy, 5'5"? Little boy, 5'5". Hey, that's that little man syndrome, boy. That's what he did.
Evidence that the prosecution is
5'5", 125. That's
going to reduce. But also, the sex charges? This is something we have talked about before. Steve Fisher, the private investigator who has been representing the owner of the property where David had reportedly been staying at in the Hollywood Hills, reportedly near where the Tesla was found, he has been saying for months that David could already be charged with sex crimes. That aside from the alleged murder, that there's evidence that David was allegedly having a relationship with a minor. And you heard Nathan Hochman say continuous, meaning more than one time over a period of time. And you're going to hear later when Hochman talks about digital evidence. Are we suggesting here text messages showing this relationship? Photos? Videos? Witness statements of those around the two, maybe? And I'll tell you what, this is the part of the press conference where Hochman talks more about the alleged crimes, and he goes into the different theories. Again, lying in wait, murdering a witness. Take a look.
On April 23rd, 2025, as been alleged by the complaint, Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time, went to Mr. Burke's house in the Hollywood Hills. She was never heard from again. On September 8th, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, Miss Celeste's remains, her dismembered and decomposed remains, were found in 2 bags inside of a front trunk of a car registered to Mr. Burke. Thereafter began an investigation. The investigation was to determine who killed, who murdered Celeste months and months before. That investigation was carried out in unison and in partnership between the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division and the District Attorney's Office. At every point in the investigation, through the arrest and the filing of charges, the LAPD and the District Attorney's Office have worked in lockstep. There's been no disagreements amongst these entities in deciding how to proceed with this case, ultimately leading to these charges today. So what you have as well with these charges is that, again, there are 3 sets of charges that have been brought. The first-degree murder with special circumstances, and again, Those special circumstances are lying in wait. That Celeste went to Mr. Burke's home on the night of April 23rd, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, at his invitation, and again, was not heard from again. The second is a special circumstance being that this murder was committed for financial gain. As the evidence will...
So I'm guessing they have proof that I'm guessing they have proof that she went to his house, and that's the last place she was seen. I'm guessing they have proof of that. And then they say it was for his financial gain. I mean, you don't know if the song is gonna blow up though. Like he didn't know that. But hey, life. Give him life. I'm with it.
Show in court. The financial gain was for Mr. Burke to maintain his very lucrative musical career that Celeste was threatening on that particular night. The third charge, in addition to lying in wait and for financial gain, is murdering a witness to an investigation. In this particular case, as the evidence will come out in court, the witness to the investigation was Celeste. And the investigation was into the lewd and lascivious sexual acts committed by Mr. Burke that is the subject of count 2 of this complaint with Celeste while she was under 14 years old.
Wow. So
that's crazy.
It seems a fair interpretation would be she allegedly goes to this house, this property, that David, they're going to be saying allegedly lured her there, or got her there, invited her there. And either he allegedly wanted her there because he planned to kill her, again, if the allegations are true, these are the allegations put forward, but that she was what? Planning on going public or telling someone about their relationship? Planning to go to authorities about this relationship? I don't know. But that this was essentially going to risk his career. So he allegedly kills her to keep her quiet, make sure his album, his endorsements, his tour wouldn't be affected. I'm wondering if that's going to be the argument. I wonder if that's going to be the theory of the case. And I assume that's going to be the argument. Now, how will they prove that? How will they prove that intent based on the circumstances and timing of this alleged killing? Text messages, witness statements? We shall see. But again, different theories here. And remember, I just go back to this, and I don't know if this for sure, but during the grand jury, it was reported by certain outlets that this record executive had testified. I mean, again, allegedly, what do the people around David know? What were they told? What did they communicate to him about his career, about his finances? Just things I'm...
Because you can't see Celeste around him all this time and not question her age or anything. Like, at what point do you tell him that that's not cool? She's 13, 14. That's crazy.
Thinking about right now. And then we go into where Hochman talks about Celeste's family.
I had the chance to meet with some of the family members of Celeste, and their grief is incalculable as to what happened to their daughter. What they have demanded, what we have assured them that the district attorney's office working with LAPD would give them is the proof beyond a reasonable doubt on who killed their daughter, on how their daughter was killed, when their daughter was killed, and bring that killer to justice. That killer that we have now charged is David Anthony Burke.
Now, at one point, Nathan Hochman brings on LAPD Chief of Police Jim McDonald, who not only talks more about the investigation, but also addresses the frustration the public has had with law enforcement regarding this case and a lack of public comments or transparency.
Throughout the 7-month investigation, this department has faced criticism for how we handled the case and for our decision not to provide details. I want to be clear about something. My duty is not to fuel speculation, it's to deliver justice, and that requires patience and discipline on everybody's part. This investigation was driven by a single purpose: to secure justice for Celeste Rivas and for those who loved her. We had to be certain that nothing we did or said would ever jeopardize this case. Ms. Rivas was a reported runaway from Riverside County. During the course of our investigation, detectives learned that she had been involved in a sexual relationship with Mr. Burke when she was a minor and he was an adult. On April 23, 2025, Ms. Rivas arrived at Mr. Burke's home in the Hollywood Hills. That's the last time she was known to be alive. On September 8, 2025, Ms. Rivas's dismembered and badly decomposed body was discovered in the front trunk of Mr. Burke's impounded Tesla. From that moment forward, our investigators faced an extraordinary, difficult, and complex case. The condition of her remains delayed the medical examiner's ability to be able to determine cause of death. The substantial amount of time that passed between her death and the discovery meant that crucial evidence had degraded or disappeared. And as detectives worked to uncover the truth, they also had to sift through and debunk a great deal of false information circulating publicly. These challenges were real, and they required patience, precision, and an unwavering commitment to the facts. Despite these obstacles, and despite intense public pressure, our Robbery Homicide Division detectives remained steadfast in their duties. They recovered and analyzed a substantial amount of digital and forensic evidence. They stayed focused, disciplined, and committed to uncovering the truth. Their work, in close collaboration with the District Attorney's Office, has brought us to this moment today. I want to thank the District Attorney and his team, as always, for their partnership. This case demanded coordination, persistence, and a shared commitment to justice.
And that makes sense. He's not wrong. You don't want...
If the body is in his impounded car, it's in his name, is that not enough evidence? He had relations with her. The body is in his car. Like, how much more evidence do you need? That's crazy, man.
Want to say too much that could jeopardize a case, give a criminal defendant ammunition to say the investigation was tainted or the prosecution is tainted, or that you had blinders on and we're only looking at one person without looking at exculpatory evidence. But you also have more about cause of death, right? Which hasn't been publicly released because of a court order. The medical examiner's records have been sealed. In fact, Hochman took questions about a lot of things, and he took questions about this. And he talked about how details of the allegations regarding the special circumstances, they're going to be produced in court. He didn't talk so much about it, but he did talk a little bit more about the coroner's report.
So with respect to the coroner's report, we will be seeking quite quickly to provide an order to the court that now allows the coroner to release that report to the public.
So once that report is released, and we will see what the coroner's finding or conclusion is, that's going to be a piece of the puzzle. I mean, I hate to say this, but again, it's tough to think about cause of death and how you analyze that when you're dealing with reportedly dismembered and decomposed remains. So would they be able to determine, let's say, asphyxiation or poisoning or blunt force trauma or a gunshot wound? And I don't even want to think about this, but was the cause of death the alleged dismemberment? And by the way, you heard the secretary say.
That's so sad. So pretty much he's saying they don't know the exact cause of death. He's saying that he could have dismembered her while she was alive. That's what he's saying right now. That's sick, dog. But they don't know for sure.
He's not the cause of death. Is that because they have their own interpretation of what the cause of death could be? Is this going to be a battle of medical experts? Or are they going to point the finger at somebody else and say that person is the cause of Celeste's death? And Hochman was asked, why did it take so long to make an arrest here, given, again, the body was allegedly found in David's car, and you look at the state of Celeste?
Exactly what the police chief got it right. That in a situation where you don't have an eyewitness account, or we can't point to a video that shows the killer killing someone, you have to go through the very rigorous and thorough investigation to look at all the digital and forensic evidence. You have to speak with witnesses, often who are cooperative, and some who are not cooperative. in order to obtain all the information necessary to decide who did what, when, how, and what their mental state was at the time. That is what we've been doing over the last, between September 8th, roughly, and today when we bring these charges on April 20th. So again, it's a type of case that you want to make sure you get maximum information. And by the way, if there's anyone out there that has material information about this particular murder or any other actions taken by Mr. Burke, please come forward to the Los Angeles Police Department, come forward to the LA County DA's office, and report that information.
So it gives us an idea of the evidence.
Ain't nobody gonna do it. Everybody these days are too worried about being called a snitch. They'd rather hold on to their information than help someone to protect their image. That's people these days are sick, dog.
Maybe lack of evidence. You talk about a smoking gun, that one thing. No, totality of the evidence, all of the evidence, not one thing. Some cooperative and non-cooperative witnesses. Is anyone working under an immunity agreement to provide testimony? We talked so much before about Neil Langston, David's purported friend, how he was arrested in Montana for allegedly failing to appear as a witness, seemingly in this case, what was it, in front of the grand jury? TMZ had reported that he had only testified for 30 to 40 minutes. If that's the case, was he uncooperative? Is he a witness? I can't say for sure. Neil Langston did not come up today. Now, according to Hochman, the investigation is ongoing. They believe they have a strong case because of the totality of the evidence that was obtained by the LAPD robbery homicide unit. They talk about the work that the DA's office has done. They believe they can prove these charges, the special allegations, the special circumstances. And this is where Nathan Hochman discusses whether anyone else will be charged.
Is it possible that you will be arresting other people within his circle, and did he act alone in this death?
Again, with respect to whether or not there's any other individuals or we're going to take any other actions, you will know about them if we do, but at this point I'm not commenting.
Do you believe that you know how she was killed, beyond it being homicide? The actual cause of death?
The coroner's report will be released shortly. Because it is not currently released, I'm not going to be commenting.
But was it determined, not that, if you won't say what it was, but has it been determined how she was killed, beyond it being homicide?
The coroner has made a determination on how Celeste died, and at the point that the coroner's report becomes public, we'll be able to comment on it.
Was there a specific breakthrough last week? Is there physical evidence that ties David to this murder?
There is physical evidence and there is forensic and digital evidence that we intend to present in court to prove these charges beyond a reasonable doubt.
Okay. So pretty much they have some evidence, forensic evidence. Forensic evidence is like fingerprints and other stuff, you know. So they saying they have it.
Yes.
In your investigation, and just to his question, are you able to tell us exactly what the smoking gun is, and also if you can address the issue of his visit to Santa Barbara, and that, how does it connect with the murder?
So with respect to the actual details of the evidence we're going to be presenting in court, I'm not going to do that today. As far as the concept of a smoking gun, the smoking gun is the totality of the evidence that we're going to bring to prove any case, whether it's this case or any case, beyond a reasonable doubt.
Is there any evidence that you've used other underage girls that you investigated?
An investigation is ongoing. If information comes forward on any, with respect to any additional crimes, we will certainly investigate it.
One more
yes.
question. One more. There's been so much discussion about the difficulties in this case. The chief talked about it as well. What makes you confident you can prove these evidence?
What makes us confident is the totality of the evidence that has been obtained by the LAPD robbery homicide, by the work that the district attorney's office has done, that has led us to the point where we believe we can prove each and every one of these three charges and the special circumstances and the special allegation beyond a reasonable doubt.
So I guess it's possible someone else could be arrested or charged. I don't know, maybe if someone refuses to cooperate, refuses to provide testimony. We will continue to stay on top of this case wherever it will go. Thank you so much for joining us here on Sidebar. As always, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you should get your podcasts. You can also check us out on NBC's Peacock as well. If you want to.
Okay, man. Hey, thank y'all for watching, man. Hey, we're going to stay on this David case, bro. We're going to stay on it. Let me know in the comments below if you think he deserves life. Let me know, bro.